go to it and shoot for the sky.
Tag teams have been around in wrestling since wrestling was born. The whole point of a tag team is two wrestlers who can hold their own in the ring, coming together as a union and dominating as many tag teams and individuals as possible. Some teams go on to be forgotten about, and some teams go on to live forever. My name's Alex from Ring Post Daily Podcast, and this is the 10 best short-lived tag teams in WWE. Number 1, Rated RKO. Diving right into the list with a banger of a tag team, Edge and Randy Orton formed a tag team for 8 months between 2006 and 2007. Although they had a short-lived tag team career together, they were dominant and a force to be reckoned with. They did hold the World Tag Team titles, and they only feuded with 2 teams. Those 2 teams being Roddy Piper and Ric Flair, and the other was Shawn Michaels and Triple H as D-Generation X. They would split up in 2007. They would make some one-off appearances as a team throughout the years, but they are more remembered for this specific tag team run and their feuds together. They make this list not because of what they accomplished, but because of the star power they had together and what they had to offer. It's a shame they didn't last longer, knowing they could have been a huge success. But the fact we got them for a small amount of time, as good as it's gonna get. If this team did last longer, just think of the feuds and success they would have had. Number 2, Show Miz. The Miz and Big Show is an even shorter lasting team than the one we listed before. They lasted 4 months between January and April in 2010. Short-lived? Yes, but in the 4 months they were together, they were able to hold WWE Tag Team titles, the WWE World Tag Team titles, the United States title. They defeat just about any team placed in front of them and even got a WrestleMania victory and moment at WrestleMania 26. After eventually losing the unified tag team titles, they would split and go separate ways. But it's hard not to have them on this list due to the things they were able to do. They were in huge segments every Monday night on Raw and interacted with most of the Raw guest hosts that appeared on Raw at that time. They were awesome as a team, and they could have done more together. Although they have a pretty decent resume as it is, it would have been interesting to see what else they could have accomplished if given more time. Number 3, the Mega Powers. Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage had some different times teaming together, but most noticeable for their 1988 and 1989 run together. They announced at that time they would be known as the Mega Powers and was a dream team like no other. Yeah, they didn't manage to hold any tag team titles together, but back at that time and age that the WWE was in, these two did it all. They fought off all competition and stood tall above the rest. Things would explode between the two eventually over Miss Elizabeth, and that would result into the classic match we got at WrestleMania 5, in which Hulk Hogan was the winner. Although they'd reunite in the future off and on and would feud here and there, this 1988-1989 tag run and feud of theirs is the most noticeable time of theirs together. Overall, this team was iconic and was a dream team come true for many fans. Number 4, the two-man power trip. Stone Cold Steve Austin and Triple H are two of the most dominant legendary figures in WWE history, and that's just on their own. But in 2001, for 2 months between April and May, they formed the two-man power trip. They never officially went by the name, but according to Wikipedia, that's what the name of the tag team was. In their very short-lived time together, they was able to capture 1 WWE Championship, 1 WWE Tag Team Championship, and 2 Intercontinental Championship reigns. A total of 4 different title reigns in a matter of 2 months. After the team broke up in May of 2001, they would feud off and on throughout the years. This team wasn't meant to be a forever team, and it was just meant to be a short-lived team to ignite the future feud. They did what they had to do, and it was awesome to see them take over the WWE for as long as they did. Some short-lived teams don't go on to be team is not one of those teams. Number 5, the Brothers of Destruction. From 1998 and 2020, Kane and Undertaker came together to form the Brothers of Destruction. But the run we noticeably remember them for is their run between 2000 and 2001. They dominated the tag team division, which in all fairness, there wasn't really many teams that could measure up to them at that time. They held the WWE and WCW tag team titles and was huge heroes in the WWE during the invasion period. In their run between 2000 and 2001, they managed to pull off one hardcore title, one Intercontinental title, one WCW, and 2 WWE tag team title reigns, adding up to 5 different title reigns together. They were a badass team and could back it up, and it was fun to see them reunite throughout the years after their main run. Number 6, Jericho Show. Chris Jericho and Big Show was formed by accident in 2009. Jericho won the unified tag team titles with Edge at the pay-per-view called The Bash, and it looked like they were going to have a pretty good run together, but Edge would suffer a torn Achilles tendon and would be replaced by the Big Show at 2009's Night of Champions. They were champions together for 140 days and would eventually lose the titles to DX's Shawn Michaels and Triple H at TLC 2010. They never recaptured the tag titles, and although they did reunite throughout the years, they never gained the popularity or dominance that they once had during their 2009-2010 run together. And during this time, they were involved in some big matches and feuds, and was heavily involved in the Raw guest host who would make appearances every week. After losing the titles, Big Show would abandon the team, and that's all she wrote for the short-lived tag team. Number 7, the Rock and Sock Connection. Both The Rock and Mick Foley was well-known stars before their partnership was even born, and even at each other's expenses, as they would feud for the WWE title in 1998 and 1999. They wrestled in empty arena matches, last man standing matches, and I Quit matches. They were WWE's hottest feud at that time, putting on show-stealing matches. But later in 1999 and 2000, they would come together to form the Rock and Sock Connection. It was comedic gold and an amazing story to be told by the duo. They even managed to pull off 3 runs together as WWE Tag Team Champions, and even reunited in 2004 to have a WrestleMania match at a moment at WrestleMania 20 to face off against Evolution's Batista, Ric Flair, and Randy Orton. They may not have won the match at WrestleMania. It's more about the story to be told in the last run for the team rather than the win itself. But the team itself was fun to see come together, having some of WWE's most funniest segments and was based on mutual respect for each other. You might not have guessed that they team up after their feud together in 98, 99, but you were sure glad to see it happen when it did. Number 8, Owen Hart and Jeff Jarrett. Owen Hart and Jeff Jarrett were an amazing tag team together, and both men were fantastic wrestlers in their own respective rights. And they were probably the most athletic team on the roster at that time. They teamed up between 1998 and 1999 and were WWE Tag Team Champions for 70 days, and were even managed by Denver, if that means anything at all. But overall, this team was a perfect formation for a team at a time where maybe a handful of teams had actual chemistry. They may have only lasted for a handful of months, but they were good enough together that they make the list of the short greatest tag teams ever. Number 9, Big Show and Kane. Big Show and Kane was an attraction of a team, 2 big giants who were hard to beat. Both men added equal strength, dominance, and power to the team to form the super heavyweight tandem. They teamed up multiple times, but their 2 noticeable runs were between 2005 and 2006 as World Tag Team Champions, and again in 2011 as WWE Tag Team Champions. They would join forces again between 2014 and 2015 as a part of the Authority stable. But after the Authority stable disbanded, Show and Kane would still link up as a team together until the 2016 WWE draft, where Big Show would be drafted to Raw and Kane would be drafted to SmackDown. Now in 2025, with Big Show being signed to AEW and Kane being retired, it seems the team will no longer see a reunion. The reason they make this list is because both main runs, being the 05 and 06 run and the 2011 run together, only lasted months respectively, but still they were a showcase of both men's careers as tag team wrestlers. Number 10, Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler. Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler formed a team unofficially named The Show in 2018 and lasted 8 months between April and November of that year. Within their 8 months together, they were able to hold the WWE Tag Team Championships for 49 days. They would usually align themselves with Baron Corbin to face off against The Shield in what would be The Shield's final run together. Drew and Dolph had amazing chemistry together and had a killer moveset. Both men were stars in their own right and were dominant on the Raw Tag Team division for almost a year. They would split up and feud shortly after, but it's fair to say their time together as a team was more meaningful than their feud ever was. And that was our list. Can you think of any other great short-lived tag teams? Go ahead and put them in the comments section. Don't forget to follow Ring Post Daily Podcast here on YouTube and on Facebook. This has been Alex. Until we meet again, happy wrestling.